All right. Thank you guys for listening. Welcome to the Freaking Epic Podcast. If you're listening, thank you for not listening. If you're not listening, because I'm sure you're doing delightful stuff for the world that is just far more important than this. And if you are, like you're curing cancer, you are being a birthday party clown for actually, never mind. Maybe inappropriate given that today's movie is The Joker. We are looking over The Joker. We just watched the trailer. Actually, he cheated. My co-host is
Nathan Farrell. I'm right here in Iowa, and I just watched the Joker trailer for the second time. I originally watched it, when it first came out, because I religiously watch trailers. So,
which is why we're doing the show with him. I don't religiously watch trailers. I love trailers, but I just never think about watching them for some reason.
I watch trailers almost every day of my entire life, and I watch the trailer for almost everything that's ever getting.
Wow.
So
that's impressive.
It's like brushing your teeth. It's something that you just do every day.
Oh, are you supposed to do that? Maybe that's why I'm going to the dentist so often.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I do brush my teeth every day, except today because my tooth got pulled, and I don't want to, bloody my mouth up.
Indeed. So, what is your first thoughts about this Joker trailer that we just watched?
Okay, I just watched it like 3 minutes ago, and so my first thoughts are, ooh, wow! I actually got cold chills watching it. It freaked me out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It looks. I like kind of the throwback '70s vibe.
Yep.
If you notice, like a lot of different movies are kind of doing this throwback vibe. So Stranger Things had a kind of a throwback '90s vibe.
Yep.
My favorite Marvel movie is Civil War, or I'm sorry, not Civil War, but Winter Soldier, and that's kind of got a little bit of a throwback '70s vibe to it as well.
Yeah. The
This kind of
conspiracy
seems,
movie.
yeah,
Yep.
this kind of seems more like a throwback New York style movie, like a lot of people online have mentioned, like Martin Scorsese type film.
Yeah, that's the thing I can't get my thumb on. I'm just trying to grasp, like, what kind of movie is this? Because in my fantasy world, I would love to see kind of a Breaking Bad style Joker where you see some background story and he is essentially an anti-hero. So anti-heroes are huge and popular these days, but
You mean anti-hero in the movie, not because Joker generally is just an actual villain.
Yes, he's an actual villain. So,
but you want to
how do
see
you
him
make
kind
a
of
movie?
slowly become.
Yeah. So in a way, of course, he's a villain, but he does in this movie. It looks like he's not starting as the villain. And
Yeah.
I actually kept track this time. There are 4 times when he either gets pushed and falls down, or gets hit by a car, or is falling down the stairs. So I'm like, how many times does Joaquin Phoenix get pushed or pushed down in this movie? He kind of seems like a mama's boy who's been bullied a little bit.
Yeah, and well, maybe it's also kind of a little bit of a social commentary, like the man's always pushing you down,
Yeah.
and just like this is what happens when the man pushes someone down enough, they snap.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
What did you think about the shot in the middle? It looked like he was actually kind of got a job. I would guess unwillingly, or so, like last chance desperation job. It looked like he got a job as an orderly in a mental hospital.
Huh. Yeah. There's a couple things that he's spinning a sign. He is a stand-up comedian, I've heard, in this movie. Yeah, and as the orderly, that's definitely a creepy job for the Joker to have. So,
well, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because the Joker is basically a sane person choosing to be a mental patient. Like that's kind of the creepiness of him, is he's got all his facilities, but he's choosing all these completely irrational things just for his own sanity or joy or something.
Yep. So it could be interesting. I'm interested to see the direction that it goes. Although I hate to bring up the elephant in the room, I the whole time just thought about how superior Heath Ledger was as the Joker. Don't get me wrong. I actually really love Joaquin Phoenix. He's one of my favorite actors, and I think he's brilliant. he's played everyone from Jesus to now the Joker to let's see, in Walk the Line. Um, he
Yeah.
he played Johnny Cash, and then he in Her. I liked him in Her. I liked him in Signs, and so he's really a great actor. I just
Isn't he the same guy who like had kind of a 2-year public meltdown that turned out to be a really bad attempt at viral marketing for a film?
I think so. Yeah,
That was really confusing.
I'm glad that he's back. So,
Yeah, glad that he's back. Well, okay, so I was looking at the IMDb trivia page, and it
yeah.
actually said that he wound up losing so much weight for this movie that the director for a lot of the filming could just do once, couldn't do reshoots. So like the director had to rewrite the script constantly during production.
Wow. Did not hear that.
Yeah, like that's kind of crazy. I mean, it kind of speaks to his commitment, but that's also, the level of commitment that a lot of Joker actors have had. I mean, Heath Ledger, he literally drove himself insane.
Yeah, he
Just
literally lost himself in that role.
yeah,
So
he literally lost his sanity. I mean, he
yeah,
basically locked himself in a hotel for a month or two,
yeah,
just spending every day thinking, what if I was the kind of person who thought AIDS was hilarious?
yeah,
Like, not just like an AIDS joke, but just AIDS.
yeah, yeah. So, I'm curious. One of the great things that I loved about Heath Ledger's Joker is that they were very elusive with his background
Yeah,
story.
I
He
really
said,
liked that.
how he got these scars. He has different stories for how he got the scars, and
Yeah,
now they're kind of ruining it almost by, well, like here's the origin story of the Joker. Well, that was what made the Joker so terrifying, is because you don't know. He's so unpredictable and such a wild card, and now they're kind of showing his beginnings and stuff. So I hope it's done
yeah.
tastefully. I looked
I
at
think that there's probably a 75% chance that it doesn't ruin the character, but it does kind of permanently lower them down a peg because,
yeah,
I mean, Wolverine was probably the most popular Marvel character for a long time until they eventually gave him an origin story in the early 2000s. And then
yeah,
since then he's still really popular, but he's lost. I mean, granted, the MCU came out around the time that they introduced him, so part of his kind of slide might be like Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man going up the charts and different things like that. But it seems like since they explained Wolverine's origin, he's lost a little touch of the magic. So I do worry about that as well.
yeah, yeah. The whole appeal to the Joker is how mysterious, and you don't really know
Yeah,
anything about him, and so
that
yeah,
was that was legitimately one of the most brilliant things they did in Dark Knight. Just giving him, I think it was only twice, but giving him completely different origin stories. So you just know that this guy, you don't know what the heck his thoughts are.
yeah. It's unclear what his motivations are, and that makes him scarier. So,
Yeah. So
um,
I think I'll think about this movie as um as a movie, and it'll as kind of a cinematic representation of his origins. So not the official origins, but kind of a what if movie.
yeah,
Because if I think about it like that, then I think
yeah,
it makes more sense because they already kind of Heath Ledger's Joker did have kind of an implied origin story if you read between the lines, which is that he was basically a soldier in Afghanistan, kind of a demolitions expert, like a bomb expert, who
mhm,
got kind of left behind by the U.S. government and maybe his men, and just kind of lost it.
yeah,
Like it's kind of a lightly implied in the Dark Knight.
yeah. So let's talk about the director Todd Phillips.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. That's such an interesting choice to me.
Yeah. So he's
So
done he's done some comedies. He's
he's
done
done all comedies.
yeah. So
He did
yeah,
Road Trip, Old
switching.
School, Starsky and Hutch,
Yeah.
School for Scoundrels, The Hangover. 1, 2, and 3, Due Date.
Yeah.
Like he's a comedy director. You know what is interesting though is Old School was originally written as what if we remade Fight Club as a comedy?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's kind of the secret origin of it. And the Hangover movies have some kind of like I mean, kind of like thriller-like aspects to them because they've got kind of the whole little bit of a mystery going on, a little bit of action,
Yeah.
crazy person in a crazy naked person in a trunk kind of thing. And
Yeah.
so I think that there's definite possibility that that works out well because A, he's a good director, and that kind of works in your favor when you're.
Yeah. Well, here's what I hope happened. I hope Todd Phillips went to Warner Brothers and said, "Hey, I've got this Joker script I've been working on forever, and I really like it. Please let me make this movie." The alternate, the other way around of them saying, "Hey, we got a Joker movie we want to make. Can you make it?" I hope
Yeah.
that wasn't the case because I think it'll be a poor film for that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny looking at Borat. Cultural learnings of America for make benefit glorious nation of Kazakhstan. So that's like the whole joke of
is he
us.
on that?
Yeah, he was a screenwriter for Borat.
Oh, what? Oh, wow! I didn't look at his screenwriting credits. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess Borat is basically a non-psychotic version. He's basically an accidental Joker.
Yeah.
Like, Borat would actually be a terror if Borat became the Joker. Just like that was the natural progression of that movie. That would be hilarious.
Yeah. So my hope is that Todd Phillips has an enormous amount of creative freedom with the movie, but I don't believe that's true because it's
WB is not known for that.
That's a huge IP for Warner Brothers. So
yeah, and WB is not really like particularly famous for giving their directors a ton of creative freedom. I mean, they're not like known for stifling them either, but they're kind of a middle of the road corporate, company. Did you see who the co-writer is? Because there were two screenwriters.
I clicked on him. I can't remember his name though. What has he done?
His name is Scott Silver. He hasn't done too much. The things you would know him for is he wrote 8 Mile and he did the screenplay for The Fighter.
Okay.
Did you see The Fighter?
Yeah, darn good movie.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of a good matchup because The Fighter was a very good kind of drama action. And I thought it would kind of mesh up well with Todd Phillips' style.
Sure.
Like they both have kind of a little bit of a kind of a grittier style, because even I mean Todd Phillips comedies are all kind of gritty comedies to some degree, not like super gritty, but more than the average comedy person. And they're actually also working on another movie together, so it's interesting to think either they worked really well and the studio put them together again, or possibly they have recently become kind of writing partners, something like that.
Yeah.
The project they're working on is an untitled Hulk Hogan biopic. The one with Chris Hemsworth playing
really?
Hulk Hogan. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they are working together in some fashion. So that's kind of an interesting thought going forward is, which came first, chicken or the egg, did they start working together and then work on Joker, or did working on Joker go so well that they wanted to continue working together? It is, to my idea, it is a slightly good sign.
Yep. Okay. So, we should start adding to our, as a segment of our podcast is, let's take a swipe at maybe predict the tomato meter score for the Joker.
Okay. So let's predict the tomato meter and critic and user, and then also predict kind of the box office as well.
Okay.
So you go first. I have to think.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot from the gut here.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna say that the tomato meter will be a very safe 75%.
Okay.
So I think Warner Brothers is not gambling on. They're not shooting for the moon or anything. They're not taking a huge risk. They're
Yeah.
hiring a proven director and a proven lead, and I think it'll get 75%. I think it'll make $200 million, maybe.
Domestic.
Yeah. So, and I think the audience score will be in the 80s. So that's my gut.
Okay. Okay. So my thought on that is there's kind of two factors moving back and forth, and that is that superhero movies generally get higher audience scores than critic scores.
Yeah.
However, dramas about sad people almost always get 20% higher in the critics than the users. So I kind of like your idea that it'll meet in the middle. The budget for Joker was 55 million, which which concerns me because that means they really didn't want to commit to it. I think it'll probably be a better movie for that, but it also worries me that they didn't like the script enough to really commit.
That is cheap.
Yeah, that's really cheap. So on the one hand, that means that they didn't run a commit to it. On the other hand, though, that means that they have to make it work through drama alone. So right. I think I'm kind of split. I think it's going to be 60% or 85%, and I think we'll get a pretty. It'll be 60% for both the audience and the critics, or 85% or so for for both. Because I'm guessing that the drama factor, the sad people drama factor, tragedy drama factor, and the fanboy effect will kind of balance each other out.
Yeah.
And I think there's about a 5% chance that it gets like 97% and is hailed as a classic.
Yeah, but I'd be thrilled if it was that, but I'm gonna say no.
I don't know. I don't think it will, but the trailer was ambiguous enough that it could go. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it's gonna suck horribly. I think worst case scenario it'll be mid 50s, 60 or so percent. And then it's going to get a worldwide distribution. So I think I would guess that you're probably right. That it depends. I haven't seen like a ton of advertising. It's number 1 on IMDb right now, and it's not. So the release date is October 19th, I believe, which is again a weird release date. Like that's a release date that doesn't say that you are expecting a whole lot, but it is, but it's not September. You're not dumping it in September where you're pretty sure it's going to fail. You're dumping it in October, right at the beginning of awards season, and right when all the horror movies come out. Right. So I'm guessing they're kind of trying to do like a slightly counter programming thing on it, like to counter program the horror movies. So I'm just gonna go kind of middle of the road and go 180 domestic. And I don't know that the Joker is going to be super popular overseas, so I'm going to go maybe a total box office of about 400 million. Okay. But that'll still be like, if you make 400 million total on a 55 million production budget, then that's still a $200,000 profit after all the advertising and prints and theater shares of revenues and stuff like that. Yeah. So I'm guessing it's a big enough profit that they start looking at other characters to kind of do smaller budget movies.
Yeah, did you see that Alfred is getting a TV show, I think?
Ah, that's cool. Is it going to be funny? That's my question, because Alfred in the comics is actually a really fun dude.
I don't think it will be. So yeah, there's that. And then I don't know if you saw the reviews for Hellboy that are out. It's at 11%.
Oh, I haven't.
It's at 11% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Jeez. It looked bad, but kind of good bad.
This is more like bad.
This is actual full on bad. Okay,
well,
let me.
if you like U-Bowl kind of bad, some of the reviews say that
Do
it's
people like you, Bull? Well, I
some
guess
people.
if you look at his IMDb ratings, they've gone consistently up. Granted, they started at worst movie of all time, and they've gone up to just regular bad movie.
Yeah. No, but the reviews say it's the worst comic book movie of all time. So
that is not possible. Catwoman and Elektra.
that's true. We have a short memory when it
I have
comes
not
to
finished. I could not finish those movies. Like
true.
I had to. I think I walked out of the theater for Elektra. It was just that bad.
Oh, I never bothered. So good point.
Yeah, I actually liked the original Daredevil. I mean, it was campy and had huge logic plot holes, but it was just so freaking cool.
Yes, I agree. I enjoyed it when it came out, and it had the hammiest villain performance of all time.
That was okay. Every time he comes, Colin Farrell comes on into the frame in that movie, I just giggle. I'm just like, yeah, this is gonna be great. It's gonna be wild nonsense.
Yep, exactly. He's hilarious in that one.
Yeah, I love it. All right, man. So, final thought. Final thought until we talk after we finish recording and figure out what kind of other segments we want to do on this in the future. Listeners, tell us what kind of segments you'd like to hear from us in this podcast. But yeah, so final thought would be maybe something along the lines of, do you think you will watch it? And if you did watch it, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you expect to like it?
I expect to watch it if the reviews are good. If it gets over 70%, I'll watch it. I like Joaquin Phoenix. It could be cool. It could have a cool vibe. I actually think The Medium would be kind of neat if it was a TV series, but I'll take the movie about it. So I'm fairly excited about it, and looking forward to a potential Star Wars trailer at some point this year.
Oh, nice. I forgot about that.
Yes, indeed.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you guess you'll like it as?
7.
That's same. I was going to say 7 because it looked, I don't really watch that kind of movie very much, like the tense Martin Scorsese-esque films. But when I do, I'm usually like, yeah, that was nice. I won't watch it again, but
speaking of Martin Scorsese, have you heard about The Irishman?
Is this a potato joke?
No. Martin Scorsese is making a mobster movie with Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, right? Okay. So there's 2 timelines in the movie, and apparently they've spent a ton of money on CGI to make them look younger for the previous timeline, and then them as themselves in the current timeline.
Huh.
So it's an interesting concept. Scorsese doesn't do things half-assed, so I'm really interested to see what the results are of that.
And those are all kind of the most classic Goomba types, the most classic mafia movie type people there are. All of those guys, but they also haven't really been doing much serious work lately. It's mostly, to my remembrance, it's mostly been kind of cheap comedies and just kind of easy throwaway stuff for a paycheck. Not say they might really like the scripts, but
hey, Robert De Niro was hilarious in Stardust.
Oh yeah, dude, that was his greatest role of his life.
I think that was,
I mean, that is a great movie, and his performance. The movie by itself is like a 9.2 out of 10, but his performance just pops it right up to a 10. Like it is
10 out of 10.
It is an amazing performance.
Yep. All right, well, let's wrap this up, I guess.
All right, how do you want to wrap it up? Do you want to sing a song? All right, let's fake wrap it up and then we'll sing a song, and then I can edit that out if it's terrible. All right. So thank you guys for listening to the Freaking Epic Podcast. This is Zach Harris and
Nathan Farrell.
And we wish you adieu.
So long, farewell.
Goodbye. Don't watch trailers so we can watch them for you, and then you will know what happened. All right, guys. Talk to you later. This is the outro song. It comes after we've listened along to silliness and triviality and talk about the birds and the bees. Never mind, that's got connotations that I didn't consider when looking for a rhyme. Well, here's the outro song. You can all just sing along in your car or on a run, whatever you do for fun. Thanks for bringing us along in the shower or on the lawn. Maybe not in the shower after all. Seems like a good way to trip and fall, by which I mean electrocute yourself. Thanks for listening.